Yo, hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
What's
Uh,
up? Hola.
Hello, hello.
Good evening from my end, from the Philippines, and I mean we have an all-star cast today, but it's actually tonight is gonna be hosted by the one and only Mr. Shari Toby, the head of partnerships from YGG. So, what's actually happening tonight, man? Like, could you, dude? I don't know. Like, you're the host.
Yep.
Do your magic. Let's
Welcome
go.
everybody. Welcome everybody to the stream today. Thanks for everyone in the audience, and thanks for all our wonderful guests. For everybody in the audience, I'd love for the our guests to introduce themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead. My name is John Tedano. I'm the community marketing manager for YGG, and I've joined the
I
team.
forgot you were actually a guest today, sir.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, I can't
You're not
host
a
'cause
guest
I'm
today.
if we were on The Voice, like I'm one of the singers right now, man. And dude, you're Justin Timberlake or Maroon 5. Like, who the one who's gonna be asking the questions? So, I mean, I'll go first. I've joined the team in April, and yeah, it's been a blast. I've been helping out with the events and with the AMAs, of course, and a bit of marketing and also some tournaments on the side. And man, it's a
You're
been-
making it sound like the enormity of what you do at YGG sound like something so small, when he's being very, very modest. The impact of what Sedano does in YGG is massive, massive.
I
Hard
mean,
to
really
hard to
I-
understate.
I try to do my best, and I want to generalize everything, especially for everyone at home. But yeah, it's been a blast. It's been a really good opportunity for I myself, being an avid gamer, coming from a multimedia background and marketing and communications. I mean, with the support of the core team, especially of course, like head of partnerships, Sarah Toby, and everyone else, Z, Phil, Fallen, and all of those guys. It's been a really amazing experience to be able to help myself and help my own brand grow within the community. But yeah, looking forward to the growth, and I'm excited to have everyone here tonight. This is the first time that this is happening, like the Avengers off the whole YGG ecosystem. Let's go.
Let's go.
So who's up next? Let's have Shanky.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Toby. So hey guys, this is Shanky. You can call me Shashank, and I head the community for IndieGG. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I handle the community for IndieGG. Everything that's going on in terms of the community, the people, anything that you see on the server that's happening in terms of the events, podcasts, streams, AMAs. I'm the guy for y'all. I'm
Awesome.
sitting right here. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
for that.
Shanky. How about Cydrake?
Hola. I'm Cydric. I'm from Mexico. And well, it has been a long journey. I started as a community helper in YGG. And after that, I was invited to participate in the SubDAO, in the LATAM SubDAO, Hola GG. And I'm working now as a community manager.
Fantastic, exciting early stage YGG LATAM and Hispanic speaking focused
Yeah.
SubDAO. And Darth T. please
Hey,
do
what's
the
up?
honor.
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name's Darth Shi, or you can call me Victor. I'm the head of community for YGGC. So if you guys don't know what C is, it's Southeast Asia. We span from Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand. We just got Vietnam. Hopefully, we're gonna build out 3 more countries. So right now, what I do is I'm head of community, do some marketing, doing some esports, trying to get like our esports off. Yeah, I just wear multiple hats, right? I mean, it's crypto. We have to wear multiple hats in
Absolutely.
YGG.
All the time.
And
Sure.
I'm gonna take that point and run with it. You've said esports. What do people in the these my beloved community managers here, as the community managers moving forward and covering different geographical zones, how do we think that we're going to kind of team up and create spectacular globally orientated play to earn esports competitions? Do you think that's something that we can work together to create?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that's
Sound good?
something we can do for sure. Even though we're like distributed geographically, I think the common goal for all of us is like something that drives all of us, right? So it's something that's going to unite us at the end too. So 100%
When-
yes.
When YGG plus SubDAO Olympics, basically, yeah, YGG.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. Yeah.
Saratobi
Yeah.
just dropping in some important updates or information, and he's just like, just do this if possible.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
just
we all-
jumping in.
we all
Oh,
love
go ahead, Cedric.
Yeah, we all love that kind of leagues. And well, we are a huge community right now. We are starting to grow bigger and bigger. And well, it all started with just a small community. And we all love games. And basically, this is why I love YGG, because it's a community from all parts of the world. And we have the same objective to play games that we really love, and share some experience and some knowledge about all these huge ecosystem to everybody in the world.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean for sure, I couldn't agree
100%.
more, man. I mean, I mean, it's not the quite of a secret, but I mean, now that we have all the sub DAOs together and we have all the community marketing managers, and the team is growing. I mean, it's inevitable that we're gonna be having like really huge competitions, like especially in terms of esports. I mean, definitely what
Yes.
I would be seeing like in the next couple of months is a sub DAO tournaments where the best of the best from every region like goes head to head, and like the champions could compete in the global scale, the global scene.
For sure.
I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen for sure.
That's exciting stuff. I mean, I'd love to hear from maybe each one of you, like, what are some like super exciting things that you can reveal about like the upcoming future of the community of your specific communities. Let's start with Sedano. Anything exciting that you can reveal that's in the kind of near term future for the YG community to look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, is the scholarships, because I mean, right now we're basically running like the whole YGG on Axie Infinity scholarships, right? But then like 2022, it's gonna be a big year, and with the work of our investments team, our partnerships team, even with our game operations team, like we always make sure that we're one step ahead of the curve, rather, not only in terms of being the first people in the game, but being the first guilds to be able to provide scholarships for our what is it now? I'd say easily like 20,000 scholars, maybe, like even with even the upcoming other sub DAOs, and our game sub DAOs, not even to mention. So I mean, that's also another point. Aside from having scholarships from all the other games coming out in 2022, is the sub DAO, the game sub DAOs, like tokenizing that, even having rewards, and not only for the not only for the community, but for everyone in general who's interested in participating in the rewards that YGG has to offer to the whole ecosystem. Yeah.
Shanky, anything super exciting in the near term future that we should be for the indie G community, or or that could interface with the whole YGG ecosystem?
So actually there's something really huge, like really huge coming up. But again, like I cannot drop any
Oh,
spoilers about that.
Shanky's holding back
Some
Shanky's holding
limit,
back the
a
alpha,
little,
holding
just
back
a
the
little.
alpha.
Yeah, okay. No, but trust me, for YGG India, there's some actually huge things coming up. Let's say within 2 weeks, which is like really really close. No, 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks. Yes, pretty close, and it's something really huge. I think we'll have a we'll have a look for it in the last week of this month.
You're
Just
giving me some
dropping it out there.
FOMO here, Shanky. I need to get into that. I need to get into that in IGG Discord and keep an eye on what's going on.
For sure, for sure. That's something you guys should do for sure. Again, just like Sadhana was mentioning, right? It's in terms of scholarships too. It's in terms of scholarships, and then it's the amount of games that are coming on, the amount of partnerships, the amount of scholarships that will start rolling out per week, right? So, we already have Pegaxi on board, and we already started the first cycle. So the second cycle is going to start again in the 15 days. So it's just going to keep increasing. And IndiGG has already has a lot of people who have already reached out, who already need like assistance in terms of supply. So here we are. We ain't gonna stop. So yeah, some really huge stuff coming. That's all I can say. I can't really say because I'm gonna get my ass whooped if I do.
Sounds good. Alpha incoming. Alpha incoming. Shots
Yeah,
fired.
huge stuff.
So, Sidrake, what can we look forward to in the Ola GG community in the near term future?
Well, we are starting to grow bigger and bigger, and one of the biggest communities that we are expecting to grow a little bit more are from Mexico also, and from many different parts of Latam. And because many people are starting to know about this whole new world, everybody is starting to look at the games. So many of the Latin people didn't know about this kind of Axie Infinity games, or how to buy some cryptos. It's really really new for Latam, but they are starting to get that curiosity to okay, what is this, or oh, I can collect this kind of NFTs. What's an NFT? So right now we are trying to share that knowledge, to start like teaching to the people what's an NFT, how you can play Axie Infinity, and have some onboarding on this ecosystem. And we are going to start doing some marketing campaigns. We are going to start like sharing some of the knowledge about this, and also we are going to give some scholarships. I cannot really share which kind of games we are going to give this kind of scholarships, but well, as you know, Axie Infinity right now it's the best game right now for scholarships, so we are giving scholarships from Axie Infinity. And we are going to also give scholarships from different games. And as you know, right now it's really 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 near. uh, for example, there are some projects, some games that they haven't announced yet the scholarship systems, but they are on development. And believe me, once they release that scholarship system, definitely we are going to give some scholarships.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And Darth C, not to forget the big SEA.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Sedano, right? He said that scholarships, our scholarships right now, it's like we have a waiting list of like a few thousand people. It's insane. The amount of scholarships that we have being applied every single day. It's like I'm so grateful to be a part of this community, and like we're just trying to like get as many people on, but we don't have enough NFTs out there to give all these scholarships out. So our team is working super hard on like bringing onboarding new games, and like even with Axies, right? You need 3 Axies. There's just not enough Axies for our scholars, so like we need to like boost that. I don't know if we can talk to Sky Mavis about getting some more Axies.
Sweep,
But
sweep that floor, Victor. Sweep that
yeah,
floor.
yeah. But I guess an alpha that I can disclose right now is we're doing a tournament in each country right now. So Malaysia setting up a tournament, Indonesia setting up a tournament, Thailand's already setting up a tournament. We just onboarded Vietnam as another country, so I'm planning out like a esports tournament for them. But yeah, it's coming. Like you guys I'm so excited to just like share this news, but like I'm also holding back. It's like I don't know what I can tell you, but
There's a lot of secret
yeah,
alpha.
yeah.
There's a lot of secret alpha in the pipeline across the whole YGG ecosystem. So exciting times for the whole YGG ecosystem. And who will be next? Which sub DAOs are we missing? Who are we missing here? We've got we've got Africa. They're missing, and not many others. I mean, obviously we have North America, which kind of is already contained inside kind of YGG, the parent DAO, I suppose, to some degree. Australia and Europe. So hopefully soon, you never know, we might be seeing sub DAOs come up in these areas too at some point. So that'll be definitely interesting to see. Yeah, so I suppose other than that, so obviously that's covered some of the stuff that's upcoming. There's obviously a lot of new games. I mean, I know that just generally, I suppose, what amongst our community managers here, I mean, what games are people most excited about for this year? And Mr. Dano, if you want to
Good question. Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead. Let's do it by class number, but by arrangement on screen, basically. So okay, so Shanky, I think you should go next. There you go.
Okay. And go next. Do what?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
What games are you most excited about for this year?
For this year,
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I must say it's big time, to be honest. Like one of the biggest ones that I have my eye on is supposed to be big time. But yeah, if it's not big time, then I think there's a Cipher that's coming up. Has some
Oh,
really
yeah.
really good potential. But then yeah, looking forward to what the I think I forgot the name of the other game. Uh, I think it's called I think it's Heroes of Mavia, if I'm not wrong. It's pretty similar, and it's stuck to the core for Clash of Clans. So Clash of Clans is really huge in India. So and trust me, it's just gonna go bonkers once it's out. So yeah, in my opinion, I think these are the ones that I'm really looking at and like really really excited about, the biggest ones.
Awesome. Sounds good. Who's next on the chopping block?
I guess it's me. Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with Shashank. I mean, I personally also am, I'm excited about Big Time just because I'm a huge MMORPG fan. I'm yet to wait. I'm still waiting for the next, like Ragnarok Online or World of Warcraft for
Oh, yeah.
blockchain, right?
Do you
So I
have your
mean,
early access pass to Big Time
I
Sagami?
do, I do
Yeah.
actually have one. I mean,
So do
I
I. We'll have to be jumping on an early stage.
Let's go.
I
Maybe we can stream it.
Maybe
yeah,
early
for
pass
sure.
YGG
Ah,
stream.
For sure, man. I mean, I already grew abs on my finger just trying to beat the bots, and spamming the buy button like on the first few sales. But I mean, it's great to see, all more projects actually supporting like multi-chain. I mean, like you might get in on some sales, you might not. I mean, same goes for NFTs, but that's how it is. But I mean, in general, big time for sure. I've heard a lot of good news about crypto unicorns. Just because
Hmm.
like at this
yeah.
point, I mean, we've talked about Pegaki like previously, but at this point, I think crypto unicorns also has something really good to offer. I mean, Laguna Games, speaks for their reputation themselves. But everything looks really sleek, everything looks really clean. I mean, aside from that, it's already released, but I'm yet to see a huge growth in War Riders, just because I've had so much fun. I mean, we're not partnered with YGG. YGG is not partnered with the War Riders per se, but the dynamic. Like, imagine the five of us like going into the battlefield right now in the post-apocalyptic world, like mining for BZN. That's what blockchain games should be about, in
For
my
sure.
opinion. But I mean, we have Cipher. You guys mentioned Cipher is coming up. Another one would be for sure Star Atlas. That's a no-brainer for me.
Oh,
We even
nice.
have I personally also am interested in Aurora just because like they have really cool avatars.
Ooh.
I'm a fan of anime and like the play
Oh,
style,
yeah.
also the graphics that they have, and I mean the approach where they're actually like putting in different games that are supposed to be coming out, but they just put like five different games into one. And I mean, like that's another level. But just seeing everyone trying to level up, what's happening in the scene right now it's pretty exciting. It's just pretty exciting. Like every time the charts go down, I'm like, you know what? Like we literally have one game that everyone's playing, and it's only Axie Infinity. So we're very early, and you know, pretty
Yes.
exciting to see how the dynamic of the sub DAOs like get to work together like later on. Imagine like having a YGG Southeast Asia team landing in like in the battlefields of big time, and then we call for backup, and then all the GG lands in with another few thousand people, and then I mean, and the indie GG goes in with like 10 million people, and we just dominate the whole server. I mean, that's what a guild
Yes.
should be about, and yeah,
Exactly.
that's it for me. I'm just really, really excited.
For sure.
Sounds
That
sounds
sounds
good.
insane.
Drake, how about yourself?
Oh, well, I really love all kind of projects that are are regarding anime. So I really like Job Tribes, also Defina,
Mm.
Wonder Hero, and uh, and this one it's a really project that it's starting, but it looks really awesome, and it's called Polka Fantasy.
Wow,
So
I haven't even
Yeah.
I haven't even heard of that one.
oh, yeah, and if I want to maybe I'm starting to track also other kind of games, like for example, My Pet Hooligan. That's another game that it's a really good project because it's an NFT of bunnies, and basically they are starting to do some many good marketing campaigns, and also they are starting to have some collaborations with many different projects. I'm not really sure how it's going to work with all the scholarship systems, or how it's going to be the earning system, but looks really really awesome, that game also. And Phantom
Definitely.
Galaxies, I love that
Oh,
game.
Oh,
you, you,
yes.
you, you stole the. I was wait. I was hoping that no one was gonna say it, and I was gonna come in and be like,
And Monkey
well,
Ball.
I was gonna be turning around.
Oh
And say,
yeah, Monkey Ball is big.
I was going to be turning around and dropping the Phantom Galaxies at the end, but you've stolen my thunder now, Sidrake. But I was surprised no one else had said that so far. But yeah, I'd have to echo that one definitely. That's definitely my probably my most anticipated game for this year. But Darth C, how about yourself, sir?
Oh wow! Like you guys named off so many good games. Like big
You can always
time.
say that. You can always say the same ones if you're.
I know, but like I have a few on my list too.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Don't
Galaxy
mind me
Fight
taking
Club.
notes.
Oh,
Oh,
Galaxy
Galaxy
yeah,
Fight
the
Club.
Galaxy.
Oh, you guys
Oh,
missed out on
yes.
that,
Yes.
right? Let's see what else. Avic Saga.
Ah,
Maverick Saga, yes.
Yeah, and then there's another one. Fancy Birds. We
oh,
all
Yes.
right.
that
You-
does look pretty crazy addictive now.
yeah. So those are just a few. I'll probably give one more shout out to Neon Heroes. I
Oh,
don't know.
Nyan
Yeah,
Heroes, yes.
yeah. So
yeah.
Man.
Also that game.
I feel like I'm getting sponsored by these games.
Yeah, there are
Just
so
Oh
like
many.
no,
giving a
no,
shout
you
out.
look, you're just be honest about like what ones you're most excited about. I mean,
Yeah.
that's cool, man. There definitely
Yeah.
some I think we've had some solid coverage there. I mean, in for me personally, yeah, definitely Sidrake's just at the last second stole my most anticipated game for this game being Phantom Galaxies. Of course,
Yeah.
I've been very public in my desire to get to get in there and see that one true AAA standard game with flying space mechs. So definitely excited to see that one come out. In addition to that, obviously, Guild of Guardians. I know that's obviously looks like it's been pushed back to may well have been pushed
Yeah.
back to next year though,
Next year.
unfortunately. So sad to hear about that a little bit, but it's just one of those things, I suppose. Other than that, obviously, Influence, going to be exciting to see. Influence, kind of quite niche, interesting political space game, so will be interesting to see that. Almost as an experiment to see like how can we see these kind of
Yes.
these interesting and where there's these kind of this risk of loss and like this kind of ability for us to kind of politically manipulate a game universe, and to see how this evolves from like almost as like a kind of case study into human psychology, to see like how will
Yeah.
these different groups of people coordinate. Will they kind of align together in peace? And is YGG, are we as YGG, are we going to be like the Federation, or are we going to be like the evil empire?
Oh yeah, shout out to Empire.
Dun, 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 dun.
No,
Dun, 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 dun. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
you're supposed to say we're the Federation, guys. Come on.
They don't have a
come on.
theme song though. Like, I mean, if there's a theme song that pops up in my head, it's gonna be that,
That is a pretty.
Oh,
that
yeah.
is,
Of course,
It's pretty
man.
catchy. You can't blame me for
Yeah, it's
that.
very
That
good.
is-
No, no.
that is very
100%.
catchy. I'm gonna quickly go. Oh look, there we go. Brian in the chat. Brian in
Brian.
the chat with the Federation. Definitely, yes. Go
Yeah, for sure.
go
Let's
green
go.
team. Yeah. So definitely. So I would say quick interesting aside here. Sidrake briefly mentioned anime there being a favorite thing of his. Now I know that it's one thing from having scholarships for the last year and a bit. I know that like anime is something that's hugely popular, seemingly across the board within the kind of play to earn universe. I'd love to hear from everyone, if everyone is happy with this question, a quick whether they have a favorite anime that they could share. And maybe I'll start with Sidrake because you start. Because
Yeah,
you
awesome.
brought it up.
That's impressive.
Yeah, well, I really like many different animes. Currently, I'm watching One Piece.
Oh,
Also, there's Attack on Titan and Doctor Stone. It's a really awesome anime. If you like
for sure, for sure.
science, it's a really good anime also.
Oh, I have to
There,
check that one out.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And I also started watching Boruto, but no, I prefer just
Ooh.
finish Naruto and that's it.
Yeah.
I didn't like Boruto, but
Yeah,
well.
so
Awesome.
that's impressive.
Awesome. So let's see. Shanky.
Oh yeah, let's go. Again, a huge anime fan that you're picking here. And just
Yay.
like the ones a few Sidek mentioned, right? Haikyuu. Haikyuu is one of my favorites. I don't know if you
And
guys
look,
watched
there's
it.
there's
Oh
there's Va-
yes,
there's Vast in the chat
Oh
saying
yeah,
Haikyuu.
see,
a
Vas
good
says
one.
Haikyuu
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
So
that's a really
Haikyuu
good
is one of
one.
my favorites. I think it's the one of my favorites anime of all time. And then comes Attack on Titan. It's brutal. It's brutal, but it's impressive.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
really impressive the way they wrote the story. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna hate on the anime because of the ending, but I'm not gonna mention Game of Thrones here.
I like Game of Thrones. What can I say? Even the ending.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so a few of these would be these. But yeah, if you ask me about the ones that I actually like, I think these are the ones on a lighter note. I think Psyche K, if you guys know what that is. Psyche K, you guys should check that out. On a lighter note, it's impressive. Some golden comedy right there. But yeah, these are the ones I like love watching.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. How about you, Darth C?
Wow. I gotta name top one is definitely gonna be Dragon Ball. Like
Oh
Yeah.
Goku,
yeah,
hands
Yes,
down.
sir.
Like
yeah,
Goku.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
OG.
yeah.
Awesome.
What else? I've been watching Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is really good.
oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you
yes,
could
Boss.
you could tell like Sidrake fangirling in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah,
And yes,
definitely.
Boss also said Death Note. Oh my god, I love Death
Yeah,
Note.
the OGs.
Oh, that's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can go really classic on your ass, though. I haven't even said mine yet.
Go
Yeah,
for
That
it.
is
Go
yeah,
for
no,
it.
no,
filling
no,
in quick.
no. Sedano's next.
Take us to school, to
Go
anime
on.
school.
Sedano, go on.
I mean,
Hit.
yeah, for sure. Right off the bat, I'd say it's Yu Yu Hakusho, Ghost Fighter.
Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho.
I mean,
Oh,
this was this was my childhood right there. Like all of my friends would be playing outside in the park, but when 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. came, like all the kids like go home just to find out what's up on the next episode.
yeah.
I mean, aside from that, I mean, I totally agree with Vic right there. I mean, definitely Dragon Ball. That's an OG. Aside from that, I also watched a lot of Flame of Recca. I mean, not that many episodes compared to Naruto, but I mean, Avatar, of course. I mean, do you consider Avatar
Ooh.
as anime?
It
Like
kind of is. It's
Yeah.
kind
It
of
is, it is.
it's an honorary anime. If it's not
Yeah.
an anime, it's an honorary.
honorary anime, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the values. I mean, the values and the lessons. I mean, animes doesn't always have to be, like just a hack and slash, but I mean, there's always, the value that you can find inside, like deep down inside of it. But that's what's like the most cool thing about anime. But what I'm excited about is YGG anime. When YGG
Whoa.
anime? Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
Well, you never know, because I think DEA Jobs Tribes were talking about
Yeah.
doing anime, and I think one of the jobs roles is potentially going to be like a scholarship manager. So I think you never know. Maybe we'll see
Ooh.
Yeah, the
YGG cropping up in some
Yeah.
anime at some point. You never know. So I mean, for me, I'm going to have to bring it right back. I've got a few here. I've got Ghost in the Shell.
Oof.
Ooh.
And
Good
I've
one.
got Ghost in the Shell, the original movies, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, the original series, not the later ones. Even though I'm actually watching the later ones, and they're not that bad. I've also got Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust,
Oh, that's a really good
Vampire
one.
Hunter D.
A
Damn.
really, a really classic also.
Cowboy
That's really-
Bebop,
Oh
yeah.
absolute classic. Samurai
Yeah.
Champloo.
Oh, also.
Mm,
From
no,
the same,
no.
from the makers of Cowboy Bebop, definitely a one to watch if you haven't before.
Like the
I've
simple style.
obviously watched a lot of Naruto back in the day.
Yeah.
which is for me, which is going back what, Jesus, nearly 20 years at this stage. That's crazy. So long time ago for me there. Bleach. No one said
Oh,
Bleach.
Bleach.
Oh yeah,
So that was
Bankai.
good. But the only problem about that was, they did kind of. I think they ran into some of the same issues that Naruto did with the filler. The kind of too much filler sometimes
yeah.
in
Yeah,
and I think
yes.
Naruto had that problem. I think a little bit. But yeah, definitely some of the other ones that have been mentioned there as well. Definitely big fans of those as well. So I just wanted to definitely think Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, Ghost in the Shell. They're definitely some of my big favorites. I think there was another one I was thinking of right now, but it's I've Neon. No one said Neon Genesis Evangelion
Oh no,
either.
that
I mean,
that anime
That's
is
true.
like,
Dude, Gundam. No one said
It's just-
Gundam.
no one
that
said
was a good
Gundam.
yeah.
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 Well, there
Yeah.
are so many animes, and I think many of the projects that we are looking at have that kind of topics.
Yeah.
Like the Neon Genesis Evangelion, and there are some games like Phantom Galaxies, and there are another games. Another projects that also have that kind of robots and mechas. It's going to be really, really huge and great. How all
And here's
these
an interesting
projects are
one.
going
No,
to
as considering that we're in play to earn and gaming, right? No one said Sword Art Online,
Oh,
isn't it?
SEO.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Isn't
That's
that the
a really
one?
good
That's the
one.
one where they go into that game
Yes,
universe, right?
yes,
And
yes,
it's
Yeah.
like,
SEO.
so that I'm surprised no one said that because it's kind of semi-relevant to what we're doing, right?
That's quite a lot
Yeah.
of things that we missed.
Also, in the
Yeah.
comments are saying like Hunter x Hunter,
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
was
Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal
Full
Alchemist.
Metal
oh, Full Metal. That was
Alchemist,
definitely one of my favorites as well.
Cookies.
That's
Yeah.
it's funny, like literally, like like there's some interesting thing where, like, amongst people, like you wouldn't necessarily find everybody within a group to be like into anime, but there it does seem to just be really ubiquitous for some strange reason within like play to earn that everybody's into anime. Just quite an interesting thing to see. And one of the things that shocked me from helping kind of build out the Latin American community that's now Ola GG, very proud to have been involved there. It was always surprised me so much that like so many people in the Latin American side of things have like anime PFPs. It's it seems to be so popular in South America and obviously Mexico as well. And I just had it was just one of these things that I just didn't assume that like anime would be as big as it was in Latin America. But it's crazy to see that, and obviously it just shows you how much that anime, and they should be building more play to earn games around the anime concepts. But it definitely looks like people are filling up there. So that was a nice little kind of segue into that. I think we had they definitely got the community going there across the different channels there. So cool. So I mean, where to take this next? Jesus, this is it's tricky. So where do we go next? There's so much so much stuff that we're doing in the space. It's obviously a really I think it's going to be an exciting year for the YGG ecosystem to see where this all goes, and to see us kind of like we said, have some of these tournaments and things like that.
Yeah, and actually, you mentioned something really good, and that's that this is like an experiment for everybody, for all the projects. There's not like a specific path for success, and many of the projects are starting to trying many different things about how to balance the tokenomics, the ecosystem, and try to survive that economy, because it's really difficult. And the other thing is that many different projects are trying with many different perspectives. Like, for example, some projects are starting with the tokenomics, trying to look at how they can balance that tokens so they can maintain the project as a long term. But there are other projects that are starting just by developing the game, becoming the AAA game, and after that starting to do a strategy for the tokenomics. A good example of this could be Gala the Galaverse, the whole Galaverse that has many different games, like for example Mirandus, Spider Tanks,
Huge one.
Downstar. They started with the games, not with the tokenomics. And actually, they are doing really, really great with the games, but they haven't announced how you are going to earn with all these games. That's another thing. How the projects can try um, to start these play to earn games. It's like another
Yeah,
concept.
No,
I totally
definitely.
agree with you. I mean, yeah, just
I think
jumping in real quick. Sorry, Toby. Um, I think like I wanna like address like something that's that's on the top of mind of many NFT play to earn community members. Like there are people that that say like what will happen with Axie Infinity is that scholarships can affect the ecosystem or the economy of a game, and it's not always a good idea to have a scholarship model or have play to earn or all of that jazz, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think you said it perfectly, Cydrake. That it depends on the tokenomics, and I think that's going to be the challenge for all the game developers, for all for the game economists out there, like even those outside, the player and blockchain ecosystem. I mean, that's the challenge. So how do we make the metaverse sustainable? How do we make it, friendly to newbies? How do we make it friendly to investors, all at the same time? I mean, because at the end of the day, aren't we at the forefront of something new? And I mean, that's where the magic is. Like we're in the discovery, and I mean, Axiom Infinity, basically pulled out like the sword from the rock when when they gave birth to Play to Earn and the possibilities of what could happen. And I mean, YGG and all the other sub DAOs like together, like we're just a tool and the whole picture of what can happen in the future off the metaverse. I mean, in reference to Ready Player One, I mean,
Yes.
that's I mean
Yeah.
that's as close as it gets to our imagination at this point. I mean, even with a book, there are a lot of references that are actually like happening right now, and I mean, it's our responsibility. We mentioned, like Star Wars, like which side are we? I mean, that's totally up to us how we shape the future. Like we're basically the knights of the metaverse at this point. Like don't only have the responsibility to set an example to all the other guilds, but we actually are paving the way for everything else that's going to be happening in the future.
yeah,
That's just my
that's
2 cents.
no, I mean, I think that's a really important point that you're bringing up there, Sedano, and actually something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, and it's actually something that I've, as I'm in an extremely lucky position personally, as having been able to kind of talk so much with all the sub DAOs, and it's something that, as someone heavily involved in the guild space, I've been involved in the guild space since extremely early on personally, even before being in YGG, and it's something which I'm a huge and passionate believer in, and I'm really trying to push the space as a whole, and it's only very recently that it's really kind of come to a head. I think this some of the concerns about guilds within the kind of play to earn ecosystem, and I think it's our responsibility, and this is going to fall onto you guys as well, as trying to identify players within your communities, who aren't necessarily just in this to earn. Now, I know it's a really hard thing to kind of have reconcile against itself, because obviously there's this huge impact, social impact piece about how we can kind of change the lives of people all over the world, and that's obviously something that we should never forget. But at the same time, I think we have this big challenge to overcome, where we as guilds, we do need to try and get players who are not necessarily always in it just for the money. We
Yeah.
are, this is where, I'm having conversations with lots of people, and lots of people equate like a guild and a scholarship as in exactly the same thing, and they're not. You can have a guild that's just a guild and a scholarship that's just a scholarship. They're not always the same thing. And I think that it's our responsibility within all of our guilds and sub DAOs to basically not just be scholarships. We have to evolve past being just a scholarship. We have to be able to onboard players that are in it for the games. Now, obviously, it's great if they can earn something from doing that, but I think this is something that like Jiho from Axie has always spoken about. Play to earn games can't necessarily always be a replacement for like real world work. I mean, if they can, then fantastic,
Yeah.
right? But like the challenge there is like, can this be sustainable? If we come into games, are we just going to drain the value out of that system? And we can't just do that. We have to be aware of this, and we have to try and find players that are prepared to like participate in games maybe they can earn something from it, maybe they can't, but if they can participate and put that value back into the games, that's something that as guilds we're all going to have to try and do to some degree as well. And I mean, it's personally it's going to be a big challenge because obviously we look at like Axie being like heavily mobile centric, right? So it's quite, it historically has been very accessible, at least from the point of view of like guild, from the guild perspective. Obviously it's not really accessible because of the price, the barrier to entry in terms of price, but scholarships obviously took away that barrier to entry. But now if we look at some of the kind of games that are in the pipeline, Axie, well, quickly let's look at Axie. Axie is obviously not as accessible as it historically was. It's moving much more towards being a skill-based game.
Yeah.
The types of players that we're going to be needing to onboard, and that makes you guys as community managers and potentially for the scholarship managers within the within the ecosystem, the job much harder, much harder. So, and obviously then moving on from that and looking at some of these games that we're all so excited about, many of these games aren't necessarily going to be on mobile. They're going to be PC-based games. If we look at Phantom Galaxies, right, Phantom Galaxies isn't going to be super accessible for the traditional scholar persona. We're going to need to kind of, as guilds, we're going to have to start fighting over like real gamers with with gaming rigs and things like that. And these types of players might not necessarily be as reliant on the income that they get, as your typical Axie scholar. And I think it's amazing what we've achieved as being guilds and scholarships within the Axie space, and I think we should hopefully keep championing that. But we have a massive responsibility as guilds to try and become like an additive participant within the kind of play to earn ecosystem, and help further it and create something meaningful and sustainable. But I think the only way that we can do that is by kind of recruiting real gamers that aren't just in it for the money. But it's a big challenge. I mean, I'm interested to hear what people's thoughts are. Obviously, Sedana, you've kind of said a couple of points there, but interested to hear what other people's thoughts are in terms of trying to onboard like people that don't necessarily fit this kind of typical scholar archetype. Shanky, if you want to go first.
Yeah, so actually, before I get to the part where you onboard scholarships, I think there's a couple of more points I'd like to mention, because you and Sadana were talking about a lot of things, right? So, bringing up Axie, right? So, Axie is like that one game that paved the way for play to earn, to be brutally honest, right? Like, it's the one game that pushed everybody to, get into the space. So, now we're seeing a lot of games which are graphic intensive, which are powerful enough, like the mainstream games, the ones like CS, Val, the ones that are really, really popular. So, like you see the transition happening right now, like you see crypto unicorns, you see Phantom Galaxies, you see actually there was another game I forgot, it was also pretty intensive. So most of these games are like shifting their pace up a bit, and it's a good sign. It's a good sign that like there's games that are putting quality and gameplay ahead of tokenomics first. Like they want to make sure that the game is fun first, because that's the whole purpose, right? We became gamers for one specific reason, because we love playing. I love playing. I started playing San Andreas. That was the first game I played back in the day.
Did you say San Andreas? Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's like one of the first games I played, and to be brutally honest, we started playing it because it was fun, right? So they're bringing that back into the game. So I think the field has a lot more potential right now than it already had before. You see more and more and more and more people coming on board because of like how much of quality and how much of expansion this field has already seen. So yeah, again, that's something I see that is brewing up a lot of potential in play to earn. And again, just like how Saradobi is mentioning, right, it's really difficult to find people who are just in it for the game, like just in it for the fun or for the sake of playing it. Like they're like really passionate. They want to make sure that they're really good. They want to compete. They want to be the best in the game. Like win that AXS, bring it in the back, win this tournaments, bring a laptop back home. Get to a once we start hosting massive tournaments like let's say CS:GO Major, right? Something on that level, people will just start going. People just start going crazy. It's just like, damn, these are such huge tournaments. They'll be more passionate in playing these games for being the best, and rather than just playing it for the money. So I think we're already in that transition phase wherein all the sub house, all the guilds are just gearing up. They're bringing a lot of people bringing a lot of games on board. So it's just that phase where we are in, and I think we have like a really really huge potential on our hands already. Like it's just a matter of time before everybody sees the potential in this.
No, absolutely. I think you've kind of really kind of hit a really kind of important point here, which is like for truly sustainable play to earn economies, we are going to need games that are just
Yeah.
like intrinsically fun to play. And I think the kind of fun aspect here is something there's going to need to be a constituent part of the most sustainable play to earn games, because without that, you won't get like the traditional gamers coming in and spending money without that kind of earning just being the only kind of incentive.
Yes.
Side Drake, if you want to hit us there with your thoughts on that area.
Yeah, basically, that was a really good point regarding the fun. The game, all the games should be fun, and not only fun, also have many different types of games that many that I don't know. Like for example, if you like anime, then you have this kind of games. If you have a mobile system only, okay, you can play this kind of games. It's important to diversify the all the possible games that all the people could play, and have like a really long-term community, not just only a play and just earn, just only earn and that's it. No, it's like a really good community what we are trying to achieve, and also share experience, and just like a family. Like, okay, I will give you some advice on how you can play better on this game, or how can you obtain certain item that after that you can sell it and have some incomes from selling that item. So I think that's the important thing, to share that kind of experience. And well, you already mentioned everybody could give scholarships, and but the important thing and the value, the most important value here is to have the community and have it as a long term, to start playing many different games and join in those games, to start earning and having fun. That's the important thing, and that's the whole point about all of this, to have fun with all your friends, with all the community, and start earning. That's the awesome thing. And yeah, that would be. And the other thing that also Shanky mentioned, it's about the quality. Many projects are just starting, and some of them are starting to do some rebrands. For example, Mist, it's another project that started with a really low quality game, but after the suggestions and comments from the community, they just started to rebrand the game, and right now it looks really awesome. Looks like a AAA game. So yeah, it's important to hear the suggestions and comments from the communities, and start to growing and also improving all the process, all the flows, to have a better experience to everybody.
Awesome.
Definitely, and not last but not least, Darth C.
Yeah, everything that they touched on, I think, YGGC also believes in. But not only that, right? There's so many different games that are coming out, and it's not just for the gamer. Um, we're in play to earn for our scholars because they're trying to make an extra, they're trying to make more money from however much money they're making this month. The average income in Southeast Asia is like, 200-300 USD. So if you take that and then you add on top of that an extra 300 to 500, I mean, that's 2 months salary in 1 month. And you can't, there's no way that you can tell other people like, hey, oh, I have a side hustle, but it's playing video games. Like that, as a kid, I would love to have said that to my parents. It's like, yo, I'm making money, right? And the best part is like there's so many testimonials from our sides that are like, people are giving back to their parents. They're paying for their mortgages. Because of the COVID situation, a lot of people have lost jobs, and with play to earn, this has like it's helped so many people. I want to give like a testimonial that like one of our co-founders shared with us. So this guy from Indonesia, he lost his job. He started playing Star Sharks, and just in 1 month, um, he put down a down payment for a house. He bought his wife some jewelry, and he had some money saved over. I mean,
Nice.
like something like that. It's like I love building communities, but like a story like this, it's so heartwarming that like why not? Why are you not in play to earn right now, right? And why are you not?
Yeah.
Why you should reach out to YGG, Indie GG, or Ola GG. Oh, and YGGC, right?
Yeah.
So, so,
Yeah.
so I mean, just come in. Like it really doesn't take much time. It's like 2 hours. 2 hours, playing video games. It doesn't matter like what your age is. I think at the end of the day, it's like we're still children at heart. And hey, come in. There's gonna be like by the end of this year, there's gonna be a game for every single walk of life. If you don't like MOBA, there's gonna be a puzzle game. There's gonna be so many games up. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that
I agree.
No, definitely. I definitely. No, I think that can still preserve the social impact piece, and these kind of heartwarming stories are something that has definitely kind of been a huge motivator for me. As a scholarship leader or a guild leader or however you want to kind of phrase it, it's definitely been a huge kind of motivator. And it's something that the only kind of caveat to that is just the concerns that have kind of started to kind of arise around like the sustainability and how maybe from a kind of like throughout the kind of COVID period, obviously Play to Earn has been able to help people with like no income at all, but like I think that we just have to kind of be cautious as well about kind of over promising the community like this ability to be like, oh, you won't have to work ever again, it's just play games and that's all you have to do. Now that will work for some. I've still got scholars that are kind of these have basically become like semi-pro gamers basically, in that they kind of, but the only way that they can do that is because that they've gone out and they're playing different games. They're not just playing one game, they're playing a whole bunch of different games, and they're starting to, and it is risky as well, they're kind of having to take risks by doing that, and don't forget as well that the use of people's time is also a risk as well, because time is one of your most valuable assets, and you taking that time and putting it into something, I think it's easy for people to forget just how valuable their own personal time is. So I think it's about, there's a big kind of educational piece here about how we kind of educate our communities and kind of allow them to evolve and change. And I don't think that we just need to, we have to think to the future and about how to kind of make this really last as long term as possible. And I think the only real way that we do that as well is a proper education for our communities and make them understand that, like, there is a degree at which, without kind of trying to, get into the kind of financial advice stage of things, but like people will have to like do things like maybe they're going to have to go out and spend some of their money and upgrade their hardware. Maybe they'll have to get a new phone. Maybe they'll have to get a new PC to be able to play some of these upcoming games, because obviously we can't necessarily do that, and they can't necessarily just rely on any one game to kind of sustain like their life. Now hopefully they can, but like realistically this economic value has to come from somewhere, and that's my only concern if we look at like games like Axie, where we see this huge drawdown, and the drawdown in price, where does it come from? I think we kind of all know the answers to that question, right? It's from probably from scholars selling their SLP. Like, and this is an interesting point. I'm gonna say something that was recently brought up on a call with me with some game developers, and something that like I'm always kind of pushing out there at the moment is this idea that give in games where they're very scholarship centric, give the scholar somewhere to put that earned token, especially for the players that aren't maybe as kind of purely earning centric. Give them a sink, and this could be for something that doesn't maybe impact the game economy. It could be something like cosmetics. Give the player the opportunity to mint limited edition cosmetics. Maybe these cosmetics might have value, but don't have them tied in with the kind of flywheel where it's kind of player driven. Because this way, imagine if Axie gave you the ability to buy cosmetics for your Axie, but that scholars got to own and earn, but apply to Axies that weren't theirs. But then they got to retain the ownership of these assets, and it would become a huge sink for the SLP that the scholars earn. Because right now, where can SLP go? It can only really go into breeding more Axies, and obviously the demand for Axies is directly linked to the player flywheel. So if you can create some kind of mechanic for, scholars to take their earnings within a game and acquire assets that don't necessarily kind of affect this kind of economy. Maybe they're not necessarily tied in with like a kind of play to win kind of mechanic, or like a kind of the kind of user onboarding flywheel. We have this mechanism where we could basically, players could acquire assets. Maybe they might be scarce. Maybe they might be desirable, but maybe they don't intrinsically affect the economy. And in games, like if we look, let's look at games again, like some of these upcoming games. Maybe within some of these upcoming games, like maybe Phantom Galaxies, maybe if players can play this game, maybe they can earn assets, and maybe they may not own the scholar player may not necessarily own the underlying asset, but maybe they can use their earned tokens to buy like cosmetics for their assets that they're playing with. Even though they don't own, they can own the cosmetics. And then if that game gets enough traction, maybe these cosmetics are scarce digital assets that maybe they were limited release during a certain season or something like that. The player can then sell them for like crazy money. Like if you look at, like, this is kind of tying into what we see in, say, like Board 8 Yacht Club, for example. Imagine
Yes.
because what it is, it's value that's focused around historical significance and meaningfulness, and it's not necessarily just tied into this kind of economic value flywheel. And in that scenario, if you have participants in a game where they're kind of spending their money on things that are meaningful to them and that they value, but doesn't intrinsically kind of function as like, oh, I'm only spending money within this economy because I'm expecting a return. They're investing money because they really value the underlying asset, because maybe it's scarce, maybe it's cosmetic. In those kind of games, that's where we can start to see kind of, a glimmer of like real long-term sustainability, I think. But it's a big hurdle to get over. So, but exciting times for the space, definitely. So really excited to see. Yeah, so I mean we've covered a lot there, and I know that like how are we looking for time, Mr. Sedano? I've actually
I mean,
Well,
I myself even like didn't notice the time, but then yeah, definitely like great insight from everyone here. Just it gives the show like what actually like everyone's like looking forward to, and like I mean these are the hard questions in my opinion that have to be asked. Like we can't all be starry eyes like all the time, and just promise the scholars the world, but having us like give our own input and our own insight just makes it more realistic. And like I mean on our end, like we are actually working on the Scholar Stories miniseries. So how it works is we try to tell the world, we try to show the world rather, like real life stories of how play to earn and YGG is improving people's lives. I mean, I wouldn't per se, like that that it basically like makes them like instant billionaires like overnight. I mean, yes, that can happen. Like there is a possibility if you work hard, you can work your way up, you could build your own projects. But like at the end of the day, like these small stories where it's small victories, like people being able to enter a new business because of them playing Axie Infinity like 2 hours a day, or someone being a full-time pro player in the metaverse and being able to buy his own car and now can drive his own Uber, like something like that. I mean, these are the stories that we want to show the world. It's realistic, it's happening right now. And on the flip side, like all the millions and all the thousands of people that were actually onboarding into blockchain and into crypto, I mean, that's the magic for NFT and the guild system and YGG is doing for for the whole world, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, looking forward to hearing more stories from indie GG scholars, from YGG Southeast Asia scholars, from all the GG scholars, and just being able to like show everyone like these are real people. Like this actually freaking happened. Like he was able to, as a Vic said, like he was able to put an investment in his house. He was able to, start his own business. I mean, dude, I mean it's crazy. Like would I mean, let's say to a 2017 bull run, would you, if you told like anyone that this was happening right now, would you see, I mean they'd call BS on it for sure, 100%. Like 100%, but it's
Yeah.
happening. And that's the
Yeah.
magic in my opinion.
And to kind of quickly just throw a quick added another point to that is like, I kind of joined crypto in 2017 myself, and kind of was primarily kind of focused on like bigger name projects, and so many of these big name projects were touting this concept of like banking the unbanked, and all these other kind of things, and to be honest with you, like many of these big name projects have not really managed to achieve their end goal, and what has ended up being the kind of real Trojan horse of blockchain adoption has been play to earn gaming. And I think that like we've only scratched the surface of the potential here of what play to earn gaming can achieve in terms of like onboarding like millions and millions of people. I mean, literally, it has already started to happen. It's onboarded millions of people. I mentioned some of my scholars there earlier. These are guys that now I've been working with for like nearly on the way to being like a year and a half. Some of these guys, based out of the Philippines, they had no bank account when I spoke to them back in November of 2020. No bank account, and the funny thing is, they, now they've ended up learning about DAOs. They've ended up learning about layer 2s like Polygon. They've ended up learning about DeFi pools, side chains like Ronin. They've got Binance accounts. They've probably got about 30 different cryptocurrencies. Do they have bank accounts? No, man. They still don't. They still don't have bank accounts because they don't need them anymore. So it's really kind of reshaping the financial sector, and many of these guys, they've definitely kind of started to evolve into, these are passionate gamers. They're evolving into people that like really care about these games and the kind of the communities surrounding them, and it's a really, really exciting journey to be on with everybody. And these kind of stories of people kind of turning their life around is something that I'm sure we're going to see more and more of. And I think I'm extremely excited to see what this year has to bring as we see kind of games explode and implode and it's good. There's gonna be cheers. There's gonna be tears. There's gonna be bloodshed. there's gonna be, but there's also gonna be a lot of laughs along the way as well, I'm sure. So it's definitely, it's an exciting time to be all doing this together. It's great that we've kind of got this truly global scope to what we're doing now, and excited to be here on the journey with all you guys, and excited to bring all of those in our respective communities along with us on this exciting journey, forging the the early settlers of the metaverse, and to see where this is going. So
Sure.
it's an exciting journey, guys. I mean, I'm trying to think how to follow up from such a kind of deep and meaningful delving into the underbelly of play to earn. I had an idea, and it came from Shanky's little reference to GTA San Andreas. I'd love to hear about what what play to earn games / kind of actually, I'll split this into two questions. First of all, I'll say, like, I'd love to hear everybody's like favorite games, and then kind of moving on from that, what could people imagine being like the biggest play to earn games that don't exist from old games, if that makes sense. So it's a kind of two question, like
Pretty good question.
Yeah.
favorite game, but then also like what can you imagine being or becoming like the biggest play to earn games potentially. So if we maybe start with Darth C, because you're always last, sir. So
Wow. Way to put me on the spot. No. No. Favorite game. I mean, growing up, one of my favorite games was Street Fighter or Tekken. Have yet to seen a crypto game that's like that. I would love to
Yeah.
play that. I would spend so much time. I also
Play
grew
to
up
earn
on
Tekken.
yeah,
I'm a massive
right,
Tekken freak.
right.
Tekken freak.
That's
I've been
yeah,
playing Tekken since Tekken 1 and has basically played every single Tekken since Tekken 1. So yeah, I would definitely
yeah,
play to earn Tekken, even though I
yeah.
just fear for my soul if something like that actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I started playing Street Fighter 1, not even Street Fighter 2.
Damn.
The one.
A little, I'm an OG in myself. So,
Ah,
but another game would probably be. I'm excited for Crypto Unicorns, right? They say that they're going to be the Mario Kart.
oh
Oh no,
yeah.
we have to do games that don't exist. So,
Oh, games that
ima-
don't.
So imagine
What
so
is-
like this is so you could basically say so you say like could you imagine maybe you know a play to earn Tekken, and I have to say like from someone that's lucky enough to speak to you know hundreds of game developers you know building in the play to earn space, I do think that like there are not that many beat 'em up games. I mean, correct me if you're wrong. If I mean, like it sounds to me like you see a lot there as well, Darth. You know, so you sounds like you come into contact with a lot of teams building in the space. Have you seen any? I personally haven't really seen that many
Well,
fighting games. I mean, I think I've seen maybe one or two that are starting to crop up, but
yeah.
then you know.
The most I guess the one that I said a few earlier, which was Galaxy Fight Club.
Oh,
Right?
that is a fight.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that a beat 'em up? Is it?
Yeah, so that
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be interesting,
Oh,
or
cool.
something like Smash Brothers, right?
Super
Yeah.
Smash.
Right, Super Smash
Yeah.
Brothers. Oh,
Well, you never know. Maybe Nintendo might introduce NFTs in Super Smash Bros. Can you imagine? That would be
I-
that would
oh
be
my god.
pretty amazing. So
I
yeah,
ac-
no, that's a good answer. So
I-
we've identified our beat 'em up player in the audience. Oh, sorry, in the guests. That's awesome. The only thing that I always struggled with, I was more one of these players that like really good timing, but I could never hack the 10-hit combos. Are you a 10-hit combo guy,
Oh,
or are you
no.
just
Uh,
tell me you're not a 10-hit combo guy?
I'm like 8.
I've got a claim. I've got a little claim to. I've got a little claim to fame here, and we were lucky enough to all have a large number of the team meet up in NFT NYC, and I have been able to beat Gabby at Street Fighter in person. So now I like in the audience Soul Calibur. Let's have a NFT version of play to earn version of Soul Calibur. That would be pretty awesome. I don't know if you're a fan of Soul Calibur as well, Darth. Do you ever play Soul Calibur?
Yeah, that was back on what, Dreamcast,
No, I think it was actually
I
it was
played
a
it
PlayStation.
on
as well.
GameCube.
GameCube. Yeah,
Yeah.
GameCube, Dreamcast. Yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
So let's see Shanky. Let's throw it in there. Like so you've already said San Andreas, so you can't say San Andreas. Well, actually, maybe you can say San. Let's hear another one. What's another one of your favorite games? And then imaginary play to earn
Okay.
most desirable game that doesn't exist.
Okay, I think one of my favorites one of my all-time favorites should be Uncharted. Have you guys played Uncharted?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an impressive game right from like the beginning to the end. It's just insanely gripping. And to be honest, I think there is no story-based play to earn game that exists. That's
Yeah.
on level of
Story.
like if you think about it, there isn't, right? Imagine the way Nate in the game, like in the game itself, he solves a lot of puzzles. Like he solves tombs. He solves a lot of tombs. He cracks puzzles just to gain that further XP. What if there were levels in these open worlds which had like I don't know, token rewards or some kind of limited edition NFT?
That's
which
a
you had
great. It's very interesting that you say that, and I mean, I would have to admit, like, I'm a huge kind of traditional AAA game fan. I love playing games like Uncharted, Last of Us, God of War, all these types of games. The only kind of problem there is like, where does the value come from? Like, because like if you have this, like, if players are kind of participating in this game, where does the value kind of keep creeping in? Is that if it's a single player game, how do you kind of keep this kind of wheel of value turning? That's all is a big a tricky question
Okay,
to
so
answer. You know?
yeah, so I think it's in games of I mean in games like I don't know if you've played Horizon. Have you guys played Horizon Zero Dawn, the one
Not
that
yet.
came out a few years back?
Not yet,
So
bro.
I want it's on my list.
yeah, you guys should play. It's an impressive game. Okay, even if you put that aside, Far Cry. I'm sure you guys must have played Far Cry.
Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
Far Cry, yeah.
Yeah. So there's marketplaces in Far Cry if you guys are aware of. So that can actually be a bridge into like a lot of other economics in the game. Like it can be one source, like wherein like you can use the marketplace for one of the sources for economy in the game in itself, other than just like having tomb solvings for a lot of NFTs and all of that. So yeah, things like that. Like I can't really say there are no limitations to when it comes to what games can do, right? Like instead of dropping XP for defeating like a boss in let's say Dark Souls, instead of dropping souls, it drops you tons of tokens. People will grind for days to beat that Dark Souls. That one Dark Soul dude who's gonna end up spending months on. So yeah, something over that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I do think there is. Sorry, Sidedrake.
yeah.
I definitely
There's
think it is possible, but like, it's just, it is going to be a challenge to have like
Exactly.
sustainable kind of
Yeah.
PVE only games. But yeah, Sidedrake.
Yeah, there is another possibility. Imagine that you can play with your Uncharted or your Tomb Raider character and level up, and after you finish the game, that character converts into an NFT, and you can use that NFT for the next release of the next game. And you
Oh.
will get some special assets if you level up, if you maxed the level of your character in the last game. That would be another possibility.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. Like considering the
Would be awesome.
different parts that the game releases, or like I don't know any levels. So carrying on your XP is one of the again XP and the economy you have, like the amount of tokens and also the NFTs, like just like how Cyric's mentioning. I think that's gonna be impressive, right? People are gonna grind their way onto it.
Yes.
And you know what? Actually, this kind of does go back to what we were previously talking about as well. It's like
Mhm.
maybe this is where like the kind of play to earn component of some of these games does get reduced or scaled back a little bit. Maybe these are games where there is ownership of assets, and maybe they eventually become kind of play to earn. But I don't think maybe they need to be intrinsically kind of like as play to earn as say like Axie, for example. Maybe they are like maybe you kind of
Like
end up
partially played around.
yeah, like you earn, maybe you earn assets, maybe you earn these things, and maybe they eventually get somewhere, but maybe they're not as just like you don't have like people just grinding these games every single day. Maybe there's only a certain amount of value that people are allowed to extract out of these games. So you're basically saying some sort of blockchain based play to earn Uncharted.
Yes.
I do
Yeah.
like that. And the other cool thing as well is like with a game like that, you could always have PvP and PvE as well in a game like that, right? So I suppose the only challenge is there, and I think it's a problem that we see within play to earn games right now, is that I think there's a lot of focus on the PvP side of things, and there are concerns about like how much value people can extract. If we look at what's happened with say like if we see what has happened with if we see what's happened with Axie, they've had to walk back the rewards in the
Yeah.
PvE mode. I mean, I think that maybe they may introduce rewards in future versions of the PvE mode, and I mean I think that this goes back to like one of the things that I was saying about with games where maybe an asset might be just extremely hard to acquire. Maybe imagine you've got like an extremely hard difficulty mode, and maybe you get an item only if you complete the PvE mode on some extremely hard difficulty setting, and maybe you get that as an NFT, and maybe it's like not something that everybody can do, but maybe it's got a really high value, so people really grind this PvE mode super hard, but it's extremely hard. Maybe it's like some hell mode version of Uncharted where it's like insta death when you get hit by a bullet in the head or something like that, and only like 1 in 10,000 people ever get to the end and get this one trophy, and it's super desirable. So yeah, I mean in those scenarios, but I just think the kind of play to earn mechanic of some of these kind of games, especially within the PvE version, is a big big challenge. So we've who have we had? We've had Darth, we've had Shanky. Let's go with in reverse order of this on the column on the side here. Let's go with Sedano next.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm really glad that you guys, brought it up. I mean, PvE, definitely. I mean, most of the AAA games, are PvE, and I mean, most of the best ones, in my opinion. But on the other side, I'm a huge FPS fan, and I'm yet to see, a AAA game that is FPS. I mean, I know it's tricky to have. Just basically maybe have play to earn for FPS just because like the amount of exploiters, the amount of hackers and bad actors
Oh
in
yes.
FPS games is it's unimaginable, and it's a game of cat and mouse basically. But what I want to see evolving in the FPS scene, especially for the AAA studios, is the cosmetics. I mean, as simple as being able to tokenize, the skins that we buy, and just giving us an assurance that there's no crazy game developer who will be printing out like a million pieces of the rarest and if of the rarest skin and like selling it in the black market. That's a that's a huge that's a game changer for me. I mean, maybe every season we have like 10 of the legendary NFTs only, and then I mean it's never coming out again, and we have it on the blockchain, it's recorded now, like moving on down like 2 to 3 years later off that same game. And I mean that same skin is gonna be like priceless. And just creating a dynamic where people actually know and people actually have value in the items that they're paying for is as simple as that. It doesn't have to be the whole game that's played or earned. It doesn't have to be the whole game's an NFT game. Just simple integrations within like these current games that we have, and seeing how it actually applies and how it can actually grow from there. It's like just basically an eye opener for all the players who are not that big of fans of NFTs and blockchain and play to earn, just giving them a glimpse of the possibilities. And I think in FPS games, it's we have a good shot in doing that. So I can't wait to yet see and get my first, legendary NFT skin. I think it was Ubisoft who tried to do this with Tom Clancy or with Rainbow Six, but they
Oh
got
Oh
a
yes.
bit
yeah.
of a backlash, and they had to roll it back. I mean, I think to some extent that's the responsibility of the community and also the game developers to educate the people. I mean, there's always going to be bad rap about everyone jumping on the NFT hype just for the sake of it. But if you actually have something to present, and not only in terms of value but also with education, people will follow. Like just how it happened with Axie Infinity. Like to begin with, Axie Infinity, it was a pretty hard nut to crack to be able to join the game, install MetaMask, like doing all the bridges. I mean, I'm talking about last year, but people did actually learn it. Like they wanted to, figure how it works and what actually is happening here. And I think it can happen with any other game. I hope it happens to FPS soon. I can't wait to get my hands
So
on the
what is your
Apex
favorite
Legends.
what are your favorite SPSs though,
Uh,
Sedano?
dude, Apex Legends all day. I can
Oh.
play Apex Legends all day. Battle Royale.
You need to get on with Jeff. Play some
Oh no,
Apex with Jeff.
really? Oh, dude, for sure. When
Or
Ignite tournaments
oh
subbed out,
yeah.
YGG subbed out
Oh
tournaments.
yeah. With the
So
Yeah,
big
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Ignite's coming up with a really cool platform where like we can now have an excuse to play non-traditional blockchain and like
Shout
AAA
Yes.
games.
shout out to Ignite tournaments.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I mean that's my ideas.
No, definitely awesome. So we're talking. So on for so we've had an interesting array of potential games there. We've had some interesting ones. So Sidrake, what about yours? Favorite game slash favorite dream game
Mhm.
for Playtime?
Well, um, there are so many projects right now, many different games, and well, you already said like if you like Street Fighter, maybe you should take a look at Champions Ascension. That's going to be like a similar type of game. If you like fight, if you like like Mario Kart or something like that, there's going to be like a Dragon Kart or Dragonari. That's another projects that also are starting to develop some Mario Kart games. But what I'm looking for is like maybe a trading card game, because I love playing Magic
There's
the
not many of
Gathering.
those in the play to earn
Oh
space,
yeah.
though, is there?
Yeah, well, there are some of them. Like for example, there's Gods Unchained, there's Splinterlands, there's Skyweaver, but not all of them are like the same strategy game as Pokemon or as Magic the Gathering, by using the energies. That's the type of game that I would like to have it in play to earn. And there's another thing. I'm thinking of another game that it's not released yet, but maybe if you could take like a photo from you and convert it into an NFT and play many different games like
Mm.
shooter games, Mario Kart games, trading card games, but by using your own NFT, your own face, that would be awesome. I would like to have that kind of game, that you could create your own NFT and play many different games of many different types, but with your own NFT, with your own face. That would be awesome.
Oh,
Something
that's
similar
interesting.
as Wii, as Nintendo Wii or something like that, that you could take your photo and play, but in play to earn. I
You see,
really would like.
that only really works for you, Sidrake, because you're so handsome. Do you know what I mean?
Ah! Oh, thank you very much.
Irene Dow. Irene Dow.
Oh, Irene Dow. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I thought that was
When
just. I thought that was just that was just simp to earn, isn't it?
Yeah, it is simple one.
when Cydric Dow.
Yeah. Yeah. The Sidrake simp squad.
The CSS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
Yeah. And then for me, like I was mean because I have a very kind of broad kind of array of games that I'm fans of. I've played a lot of different types of games. I mentioned that I'm a big fan of like kind of big budget RPGs like God of War or like that's what I'm playing right now, and I've obviously been a huge fan of lots of different games. I've played a lot. Yeah, I'm a big fan of shooters as well, just like Sedano. Call of Duty, obviously, being one of those. But I'm also a big RTS fan as well. I'd love to see like a really, really high quality kind of RTS play to earn game. I think something like that would be really awesome. I think RTS as a genre has been neglected quite a bit, and I'm surprised considering the success of games like StarCraft that there's not been like a kind of massive follow up to StarCraft for those people with the crazy action high APM fingers. I mean, I unfortunately I'm not that skilled on that side of things with this kind of super. I'm a bit slow and getting slow in my old age these days. But I'm gonna hit you with another one as well, and obviously I'm stealing Shanky's one there, where it's like imagine like massive metaverse orientated somehow kind of PvE/PvP version of like Grand Theft Auto with like because one could imagine that being like if we take like you have some of those intrinsic issues about the kind of PvE part of the game that we discussed earlier, but one could imagine there being these kind of PvE environments that players participate in. Maybe they kind of can earn some cosmetics that are NFTs. Maybe those NFTs can translate into the PvP version of the game. But imagine like this, you've got your kind of the real kind of gangs, play to earn gangs, guilds being these gangs, and maybe there's some sort of territory mechanic where people can like invade cities, and maybe you could have like this kind of like a kind of grand, but it would need to be like absolutely unbelievable in scale, because you'd need to have like a whole like world, and imagine like a kind of Grand Theft Auto world metaverse concept with like ownership of underlying assets and the ability for like guilds to basically like jump in like a bunch of cars and either drive to another city, jump in a plane and fly to another city, and just like
Nice.
I have to remember not to swear, but shoot the hell out of like the other guilds and like destroy things. But then you run into problems like perma loss of NFTs and things like that.
Yeah,
But
cool.
these are all things that we're going to have. But that works as a good sink for the economy as well.
Yeah,
Though,
exactly.
potentially.
That's true.
So there. What have I said there? I've said high quality, super high quality RTS and a play to earn metaverse Grand Theft Auto. Because I was a big Grand Theft Auto fan as well, absolutely.
Oh,
Though
should have
I never got into Grand Theft Auto Online, though I have to say. for some reason never got into Grand Theft Auto Online.
I have to do a quick
Yeah.
shout out to like Zelda though.
Oh, Zelda,
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Was there
That's
ever an online version of Zelda though?
No, but
No, no,
I
no.
think Zelda did pave the way for like games like God of War and like without
Oh yeah,
Zelda,
definitely.
right?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
suppose one other one which we forget is like massive, like Skyrim, but with play to earn and like Unreal 5 photorealistic VR Skyrim with play to earn and NFT.
Yeah, for sure.
Now I'm just being like ridiculous. Yeah. But like
Just keep your
something
wish
like that.
list going. Like, just keep
Yeah.
listing it on the wish list. But
Yeah.
just like jumping in like real quick. So one of the challenges that I see for like our concepts of traditional games is that every NFT project has 10,000 variations of one single NFT, and having for the game developers, for the game designers, having to create like just thousands and thousands of versions of a single NFT per game is a challenge. I'm not quite sure if the technology is there yet to be able to actually support like generative NFTs in terms of 3D and the 3D modeling and 3D rendering. It can't. Theoretically, I'm probably sure like there are already people working on it. Maybe Aurori has been showing like some teasers of actually the NFTs like in game, which you are usually into or are in 2D, but now have 3D versions of it. But doing 10,000 versions of that is without automation is a different story. But once the technology is there, dude, like it's already half the battle. That's what NFT games are all about, right? Like having your own customized and your unique characters as tokens in the game. So, I'm looking forward to that, and I can't wait to see like which game actually comes out first using that kind of technology. Big Time is doing something similar with their maps. I forgot the term, but like they basically have RNG maps where they don't have to program and design everything like one by one. But the sooner it's gonna be like not if, but it's a matter of when it's gonna happen. But yeah, those are my ideas. Speaking of NFTs, so I think Saratobi, I'm gonna ask you the question. So, what's your favorite
Oh.
NFT?
Are you my
NFT project.
well, are you talking about game
Nice.
or just NFTs?
No, just NFT.
Yeah, in general.
I'll be completely honest. I've not been like a huge. I haven't really followed or participated in as many because my kind of brain space has been so geared towards guilds and games. And I really do have some regrets there because obviously I could have bought Bored Apes, for example. I was like, I should probably buy one of those, and I just didn't do it. But look, it's, to be honest with you, it's not always about the gains. Obviously in terms of just in terms of PFPs, I've got my Omnimorph, which I haven't really bought from as like a, I just liked it. I bought it because I liked the art, so I kind of did just buy that one as a PFP. Other than that, like in terms of my favorite NFT, I think I've answered this question on the previous podcast that I did. But my two, there's two. One is my YGG Founders Coin, because of like the meaning behind it. I'm extremely blessed to have been like an early community member and like obviously I had that NFT, and it's kind of something that I don't think I could ever imagine selling. It's just kind of has that kind of meaningfulness there behind it. So and obviously you never know what kind of interesting things projects might end up dropping to that NFT. Hint games, please drop stuff to our Founders Coin holders. And other than that as well is the Genesis Meta Key. I'm hopeful for that one and things like that. I like the idea of this kind of like access, like VIP access thing, and I think that like the Genesis Meta Key and things like the YGG Founders Coin are similar in some respects. It's kind of like this kind of NFT that kind of symbolizes like access to large number of different groups and things like that, and has this kind of value. So that would definitely be like, but like into PFP wise, I've only really got like an Omnimorph. I haven't really kind of bought into many of the other NFTs, unfortunately, so I've missed out a lot there. I'm gonna kind of quickly pull it back. We've got a question there from someone on Twitch that I'm gonna just quickly deal with, which was from Be Faceless about the YGG and the heavy focus on
Oh.
scholarships. And definitely, I to answer that, I think this goes back to what I'm saying, like, and I think it's a really important thing for us to kind of message, is that like YGG, IGG, YGG SEA, Ola GG, these are not just places for scholars. These are gaming guilds. If you're an investor in play to earn games, you can be part of a guild. We please come join us. Come play games with us. Come and have fun. If you've got assets, you can participate as part of the guild. You can play with our guild members. As games are coming out, it's going to be a really exciting thing. Many games are going to have like guild functionality where like you're not necessarily going to have to be a scholar. Maybe like if we look at Phantom Galaxies, for example, right? There are probably going to be ways for players to come and play with us. If you don't have to necessarily play with, you could choose one of the subdels, or you could choose YGG itself. But absolutely, find a guild, and it doesn't even have to be YGG. Find a guild that you relate to, and go and participate with them. And I think this change of the narrative from like guilds don't always have to be about scholars. And I think it's amazing what we can achieve through the concept of the scholarship. But I think that 100%, if you're a gamer, if you're a crypto investor, we need guilds. We need you. Please come and join our communities. Tell us what you think. Tell us how we can be better, and bring your friends and come and participate in some of the games that we're going to be participating in. And sometimes it might be a case where we might have assets that we can lend you guys, so like them. And like in some respects that is a scholar style relationship, but that doesn't mean that you have to use that earnings to survive. Pump it back into the game, or donate it to somebody else, or if you don't need, or take it and pump it back into the game, or whatever. So 100% great question. And right now, yeah, if you're a play to earn gamer, if you're a crypto investor that's interested in blockchain gaming, reach out to your local subDAO or YGG itself, and play games with us and have fun and enjoy it. And obviously, if you want to, even just if you are kind of investment minded, but you still want to play the game, come and play the games with us, right? And
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat wanting play to earn FIFA. That's an interesting one. Yeah.
Monkey Ball.
That's- Monkey Ball.
Ball.
Well,
Yeah.
Monkey Ball is turn
But it's a
turn
card.
based.
Yeah.
It's turn based though, right? So I'm not sure it's really.
It's not live, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, but definitely, yeah. RTS. We see play to earn poker. I think poker is already play to earn. That is actually probably one of the
Yeah. Yes.
even though I think we
Yeah,
could. There's another name for that, and that's just called gambling. But then, look, let's be real. Some of this stuff is quite gambling-esque as well. And I suppose for all of those in the audience, none of us are financial advisors, and this is not
Yeah.
financial advice. We are all crazed,
Sure.
crazed gamers, and obviously always do your own research and things like that. We don't say that enough, probably, to be perfectly honest with you. But but yeah, obviously, little disclaimer there. None of us are financial advisors. None of this is financial advice. We're all just having a laugh and trading funny stories, and we're all probably going to get wrecked at some point. So so
That's a disclaimer right there. That's a disclaimer.
yeah,
Play-
and Vulcan Forge apparently has a
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
poker game in their ecosystem of games, and we are already participating there. But yeah, definitely great to hear what people in the audience are thinking. I think there's so many games that are left to be developed in this space. But yeah, absolutely. I think as Noah ACLs has said, there a kind of live, real time football game with play to earn would be amazing. But I think it's one of these things where just figuring out like the kind of economics behind what that would look like would be an important thing. But yeah, so it looks like we have no other questions in the chats right now. I'm trying to think of what else. We've covered a very broad array of topics there. I think we've. I hope some game developers listen to our conversation and go out there and build some of the stuff there. We've covered some like what sound to me like extremely desirable ones, especially my choices. Obviously, I'm joking, but
I'm
like yeah.
I'm still curious about everyone else's favorite NFTs.
Oh yeah, okay. Because I got asked that question, Sedano. Yes, because you asked me that question. What is your
Okay.
favorite NFT?
Like I don't own it, but something that I wish like
Oh,
got in earlier
you're
is
coveting you're coveting someone's NFT. I'm joking.
I'm coveting like 10,000 other people's NFTs.
Like,
It's the CloneX NFTs.
oh,
I
Clonex,
mean, with
yeah.
the partnership,
Wow.
with Nike, right? So, I mean, I love it. I mean, not because I mean, for sure, like the art is great, and it's pretty cool. But I mean, the fact that we now have huge companies getting into the game, like having some skin in the game, is a different story. I mean, just realizing like all the possibilities when basically if sooner than later every other company is going to be getting into NFTs. There's going to be a use for blockchain technology one way or another. And I mean, the question is who's next. But then yeah, I mean, going back to the topic, like personally, I do own an Aurorian, just because like I've been following the game for a while. I mean, we're not partnered with them, but I can't wait to have our AMA with Sim. But also like because like me and my friends, like that's your thing. Like we're also on the quest to discover like a possible like next Axie Infinity. Aside from that, I'm really into a cyberpunk, like futuristic, like pseudo, like post-apocalyptic, like the Matrix style NFTs. But yeah, I've also gotten into Cybergang. It's another Solana NFT. But yeah, of course, like the usual, like the Bored Apes and the crypto punks and all and everything else. Like those are the OGs definitely. But
Yeah.
I'm yet to see the next generation. I mean, those are
I have
I'd
to
say
be. I
those are
have to be honest. I'm not a big crypto punk fan. To be cyber, whatever. Yeah, I'm not a huge
I'm
fan of
I'm
that.
a fan because it was given out for free. Am I right? And now it's worth millions. I'm a fan of that. But yeah, I'm because theoretically these guys are I'd say Gen 1 NFTs. But now it's we have a new wave of people coming in. Like I have like a 16 to 17-year-old nephew who's been asking me about NFTs, and like is now like saving his meal allowance for school just to get into his next NFT, saving up for his next NFT project. So we have actually like a new wave of I don't say like investors, but a new wave of NFT enthusiasts and blockchain enthusiasts coming in. And these guys you got to remember, like these guys are the kids who had to stop school and had to stay at home playing games 24/7. And I can't wait what these guys have to bring into the table, because I mean, let's not forget, like these guys are going to be dictating like the next trends. These guys are going to be picking the next NFTs, the next projects, and they're going to be the ones blowing it up. But I mean, on the other hand, I mean, I myself, like being a music artist, like I do actually am trying to tokenize like our music videos, our songs, and everything. But it's a huge responsibility to offer something that has value. Sooner or later, all the other NFT projects that are all hype, all bots, and all gamified like whitelisting schemes, it's gonna die down, and when the dust settles, they're gonna be those that stick out, and hopefully like we get to stick out as many good projects as possible for the next generation of NFT and a blockchain game enthusiasts. But yeah, Shanky, you're up.
Okay, I don't have like such impressive stories of sorts, but then there was one NFT that I was really, really interested in. I think it was called This Changed Everything NFT. Do you guys know about that? It's called
No,
This
I haven't
Changed
heard.
Everything. So it's about the picture when the internet actually began, like the code picture, the first lines of code that were ever written, and it's a picture of that was sold for around, like, I don't know, $4 million or something, $5 million. So
Wow.
yeah, it's like the first it's like the birth of internet. So I love that NFT a lot, because I mean, yeah, it's because of that we're all right here, right? We're able to see each other. There's great one that existing because of that. So it's an impressive NFT, to be honest, and it's just an honor holding that. It's just like
Oh,
You're
so
holding
you
something.
bought that $4 million NFT, right, Shanky?
Definitely not. I wish I did. But yeah, that's my favorite NFT, to be honest. Yeah, like don't have backstory or sorts.
Awesome, awesome. How about you, Darcy?
Well, I actually have a few PFPs I want to do a shout out for. The first one would be the Lost Boys. For me, it really touched my heart. They were focused on mental health. I think during COVID, mental
Yeah,
health was
I know.
it's been something that like I think not enough people talk about. But yeah, they were donating their proceeds to a mental health association. So that was one of my early PFPs that I got. And then some other ones that I got, Spooky Boys. I got recently. I just bought a Karafuru. Um, it
Oh,
was been a crazy ride for me. Floor right now is 5 ETH. I minted it at point 0.2, so I'm rolling in the ETH. I didn't sell it yet, so I'm a diamond. I'm a diamond hand.
Yeah.
But a few more would be there's this one that I'm excited for. It's called Meta Guardians. Guardians of the Metaverse. They're going to come out with the game soon. Their team's pretty cool. The guys are from they did Wonder Woman and Venom 2, so pretty sick team. And then Galaxy XY. I gotta give them a shout out. Taiwan-based company, very cool project. And yeah, and I have to say, my favorite mint is also the YGGC
oh yeah.
NFT.
Is that the guild badge? Is it?
Yeah, it's the guild badge.
I have one of those as well. I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
So who do we have left there? So we did you say did you already go Sidrake? No, I don't think you
No.
did.
Well, I like many different NFT collections. For example, one of them is Blockchain Billies. That collection it's about goats, some goats that have like different like items in the hands and many different styles with sunglasses. So I like that kind of NFTs. And the other one I already mentioned it, that it's My Pet Hooligan, that it's about the bunnies, and they are going to release a game about that NFT collection. And also, I like the crypto bats from Ozzy Osbourne, but I couldn't get one.
Did you see
Oh,
one of the community well the gaming operations manager Fallen has the one of one
Yes,
unique
oh,
crypto bat.
yes, yes. Yeah, I knew about it. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that now, I have to say.
yeah. And it's going to be really expensive, and
Very possibly.
particularly that one.
Yeah, so lucky man
He's
damn.
really
on the
lucky. Yeah, he's really
lucky on
lucky.
the mint there, the one of one Ozzy Osbourne bat. Oh yeah, so I think that's everyone's favorite NFTs. Now I'm trying to figure out what to talk about next.
Yeah,
or,
we're
or
we're quite a bit running on overtime here. Usually our aim is only last for an hour. I mean, we're breaking records like at this point in time for the global community updates. But I mean, I think it's a good idea. I think everyone would agree, everyone watching at home, and you guys for sure, that I think this should be like a monthly or a bi-monthly, not even maybe in the future, maybe even a weekly thing where all the community or the community leaders, and yeah, core team members, could hop on and just hang out and talk about plans and what's happening like in the future, like some very like like useful time. I mean, I'm really happy, like especially when we get on board like more sub DAOs and especially more team members. Like maybe even like when we get more core team members from other sub DAOs, like get to know them, get to talk to them, and just pick their brains about what's happening right now in the ecosystem. But yeah, I'd like to I'd like to help like wrap up this session for everyone. I'd like to talk about what's in the pipeline for YGG and under community marketing management. But yeah, I think I've mentioned it earlier. Is we've been working on the scholar stories, which like really just want to be able to find find those gems in the community from our scholars, those scholarship graduates who have something to tell, and we want to share that with the world. Aside from we do have the Managers Cup that happens. We have our next episode that's happening on Sunday. We're gonna be having a very special guild, two very special guilds that will be participating. But yeah, like we have it every other Sunday, and we can't wait to get to round two and then even round three and to the finals that's happening in July. But yeah, everything's gonna be done for charity. This is an Axie Infinity tournament, but with what's on the pipeline for all the other games coming out, the possibilities are endless. I see tournament sub DAO to sub DAO tournaments, YGG in general, physical events for sure. But we are also working on on the future of work care of Z in YGG. But that's something like some alpha there that definitely everyone should watch out for. And yeah, just looking forward to building with the whole community, especially now that we do have a powerhouse of community leaders and community managers within YGG. And I can't wait for the next one, guys. Yeah. Next up. Oh, sorry, Toby. Can you say something?
No, absolutely. I was just going to reiterate that. At least speaking for myself, I'd like to hope that the community found this valuable. If this is something that people would like to see, please. I'm going to be super horrible, classic cliche YouTube guy and say smash up that YouTube like button and hit subscribe and stuff like that. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on join our Discord servers. Follow all the wonderful people in this call's Twitter. Please let us know if you like this this show. I for one definitely think this could be something that we could do, if not once a month, then every couple of months. I think it could be really valuable. And as we kind of have more sub DAOs enter the fray, enter the a new challenger has entered the arena, we should bring them on board, and maybe we could even have other guests from the sub DAOs and even YGG kind of hop on for these types of shows. So yeah, would love to hear what people have to think about that, and I think it could be a really cool little thing to keep doing. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining. That was really awesome. Thanks, Sidrake from Ola GG. Make sure to follow Sidrake on Twitter. Thanks, Shanky from Indie GG, our India focused sub DAO. Thanks for joining. Make sure to follow Shanky on Twitter there. I don't know if we have your Twitter handle there. Make sure that
it's mentioned there.
Awesome. And Darth C from YGG SEA, thank you so much for your time today, sir. Absolute pleasure. Make sure to follow YGG SEA and Darth on Twitter. And of course, thank you to Mr. John Sedano, the main man, the original.
Thank you.
Community manager of YGG, and thanks to me.
A huge thanks to Saratobi.
Yeah.
Is it your birthday, Shanky?
No, it's not my birthday. I don't know why people are saying
Yeah, happy birthday!
Someone's birthday today.
It's not my birthday.
It's a birthday. It's a birthday.
It's not.
Airdrop,
It's me.
airdrop,
I
But yeah,
wish-
sorry, Shanky. Like, I just wanted to ask. Do you guys have any updates or any stuff that you look forward to from Indie GG? Anything in the pipeline that you want to share with everyone who's watching at home? Go for it.
exactly what Saratobi was asking sometime back. There is something that's really, really huge, but then I really can't say anything about that. I actually mentioned it. But then the ETA on which you can expect this to happen is around the end of February. You'll get the announcement out soon. It's going to be huge, is what I can say. So stay tuned.
Sounds good. There's a lot of alpha in this room. For sure.
100%.
Awesome, guys. Well, look again. Thank you, everybody in the
Thank
in
you,
the audience
everybody.
for tuning in, and yeah, let's do this again sometime, guys. Peace.
Yep.
For
Awesome.
sure.
Peace. Thanks.
Thank you.
Adios.
Bye, guys. See you.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
me.
Take care.